Despite having a very minor disagreement in the White House recently, Trump and Zelenskyy in reality share a lot more of common ground than you could possibly think of. Their road to success and key principles are extremely similar and different at the same time, and let them achieve what they need in the respective environments of the USA and Ukraine. First, we need to briefly but fascinatingly examine Trump's career to understand his underlying, starting with the most important one, his father. Fred Trump was a carpenter's assistant with big dreams. He built his own company, endured the Great Depression, and pioneered one of New York's first supermarkets. His lesson to Trump was, work hard, never be weak, and be a killer. Born into wealth, Donald was never coddled. His father made sure of that. He taught him toughness, both in business and in life. For bullying children in school, young Trump was sent to military school by his father, where he learned discipline, resilience, and the importance of winning at all costs. By the time he took over his father's business, Trump was already a fast learner. Moving to Manhattan, he mingled with elites, built his personal brand, and learned that in business, perception is everything. When the New York Times mentioned him for alleged racial discrimination in housing, Trump faced a challenge. No lawyer wanted to take the case, but Trump continued searching until Roy Cohn, a ruthless legal mastermind. Trump learned a crucial lesson: never admit fault, never surrender. The 1980s, Reagan's America, capitalism's golden age. Trump embodied it all: wealth, success, and power. He built Trump Tower, relentlessly pursued prime real estate, and turned himself into a walking brand. He appeared on talk shows, was mocked by the media, but they couldn't stop talking about him. With his own name on buildings and a glamorous Eastern European wife, Trump became the ultimate symbol of American ambition. But he wanted more. He launched Trump Shuttle, his own airline, hoping to dominate the skies like he did the skyline. He wrote The Art of the Deal, turning his business philosophy into a bestseller, additionally sending the brand of himself. Then, he set his sights on an even grander project, Television City, a massive development on the West Side rail yard. But the mayor stood in his way. The city rejected his vision, forcing him to abandon the project, a rare defeat in his relentless pursuit of expansion. Then came the 1990s. Trump was drowning in debt. Casinos failed, his airline collapsed, his marriage crumbled. The media tore him apart. His self-made image was shattered. But he wasn't defeated. He sold assets, played smart, and rebranded himself. He wrote The Art of the Comeback, bought the Miss Universe pageant, and turned failure into a narrative of resilience. People love a comeback story, and Trump knew it.
My name is Donald Trump, and I'm the largest real estate developer in New York. I own buildings all over the place, model agencies, the Miss Universe pageant, jetliners, golf courses, casinos, and private resorts like Mar-a-Lago, one of the most spectacular estates anywhere in the world. But it wasn't always so easy. About 13 years ago, I was seriously in trouble. I was billions of dollars in debt. But I fought back, and I won big league. I used my brain, I used my negotiating skills, and I worked it all out. Now my company's bigger than it ever was, it's stronger than it ever was, and I'm having more fun than I ever had. I've mastered the art of the deal, and have turned the name Trump into the highest quality brand. And as the master, I want to pass along my knowledge to somebody else. I'm looking for The Apprentice.
2004, The Apprentice debuts, a perfect showcase for the Trump persona, an almost failed billionaire who teaches others how to win. 20 million people tuned in weekly. It wasn't just entertainment, it was another masterstroke in branding. Trump made $500 million and an even bigger reputation. As the economy shifted and frustration grew, Trump saw his opening. In 2011, he tested the waters, attacking Obama, stirring controversy, using Twitter as his megaphone. Many mocked him, but his words resonated. The Tea Party that emerged as a reaction to Obama's policies lacked a strong figure. Trump filled that void.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
2015, Trump announced his candidacy. The media laughed, politicians dismissed him, but they were only attracting the attention of the voters to the Trump's persona. His business comebacks mirrored the comeback they wanted for America. He dominated the Republican primaries, saying things others wouldn't dare and bullying his opponents. He understood the power of attention, good or bad, it fueled him. Despite every poll, every expert prediction, every attempt to stop him, Trump won. A masterclass in branding, resilience, and never backing down. Even in defeat, Trump never concedes. He lost in 2020, but only temporarily. His 2024 campaign is his greatest work yet. After an assassination attempt, his words, "fight, fight, fight," became the embodiment of his philosophy. He is not just a man. He is a movement. Donald Trump doesn't lose. He simply hasn't won, yet. So analyzing his life, Trump's key principles that lead him to power are: branding as power, turned his name into an empire, proving perception often outweighs reality, relentless persistence, never accepted no, always fought for what he wanted, turning setbacks into fuel for success, control the narrative, never admitted fault, dominated conversations, and used media attacks to stay relevant. Us versus them mentality. Created enemies to rally support, whether politicians, media, or foreign powers. The art of the fight never quits, never concedes, always pushes forward. And now I will talk about Zelenskyy. And in the process, you will see that key principles of the two guys are the same, but at the same moment completely different. Zelenskyy comes from a Jewish family that barely survived the World War II. His parents were representatives of so-called intelligentsia. However, still he was living in the poor Soviet conditions. In the 10th grade, he organized a KVN team of students. KVN, or Club of the Cheerful and Resourceful, is a post-Soviet comedy show, extremely popular and seen almost by any Ukrainian, Russian, and Belarusian. With his team, he beat his teachers in a local school KVN competition. After ending the school, he studied to be a lawyer, although never worked as one for a single day. During the student years, Zelenskyy's primary focus was KVN activity. He was invited to a popular team in his city of living. The team won championship in the higher league of KVN, and after that Zelenskyy with his friends decided to start their own team, 95th Kvartal or simply Kvartal. In 2001, the team won Ukrainian League and almost won the higher one. Participating in battles like that, despite it being humor, is really building character, as you're still striving to win and achieve the ultimate success, as if you was in UFC and your weapon wasn't your hands, but your tongue. Losses didn't break him, but rather motivated him, as they did with Donald Trump. After a conflict with KVN leadership, they decided to be a separate project, Studia 95 Kvartal. Their concerts were shown in Ukraine and Russia as well. They also made movies and shows that were translated in both Ukraine and Russia. Svati show was extremely popular in Russia, awarded a lot of times, as they just showed the real stories and life of an average post-Soviet family. The second and the most important show is The Servant of the People or Sluga Naroda, a show where Zelenskyy, an honest school teacher, becomes the president of Ukraine and tries to overcome the deep state, eradicate corruption and nepotism. Here we start to see really great similarity with Trump. Zelenskyy just built an image of himself as a president for millions of people who see these series every day on their TV. Their reality is just replaced with an imaginary president. That understanding or idea that Trump didn't have saved Zelenskyy a lot of time and made him a president almost immediately in his 41 years, while Trump was forced to wait until the end of his life, while having a similar possibility, but not doing anything besides The Apprentice, which gave him respect, but not enough and too late. Zelenskyy used the same tactics as Trump against his opponent Poroshenko, pursuing scandals and challenging him with a huge media campaign. Media in Ukraine were not as controlled as they were in the United States, so a little figure as Zelenskyy could easily break through the blockade and even defeat oligarchs. Zelenskyy didn't really have a solid campaign. rather a populist one, and was selling primarily his face and personal brand to the voter. He won 73% in the second tour, marking a significant success. One of the interesting points is he was agitating for peace and ceasefire with Russia while opposing the current president. His first decisions were meetings with Putin, phone calls, artillery withdrawal. A catchphrase of Zelenskyy, later used by his opponents against him, was, "I want to look at the Putin's eyes." We see almost the same attitude from Trump to Putin, and this naive desire to look at the Putin's eyes and make a deal, as Zelenskyy had. They don't understand or barely do the psychopathic world of politics. Nothing changed when the war started. Here's another catchphrase known to anyone. "I don't need a ride, I need ammunition," perfectly describes Zelenskyy's mentality. Even being somewhere incompetent or not right, Zelenskyy and Trump feel responsible and try to do all the best for what they swore to protect. That's their secret to success. Never give up and fight, fight, fight.